Brother wrote that he usually reads stuff for me, and I'm in the joint, and he's on vacation right now for his birthday, so he wrote something and sent it, and I wanted to read it.
Oh, nice.
Dear friends and family, the Perez family, I'm having my brother Crab read this to you all because I know he will convey my feelings and emotions the way they should be conveyed. This is a letter to Cyco. Dear Cyco, I want to start by saying I'm really bummed that I couldn't be here today to share this blessed event of spreading your ashes, because tomorrow is my birthday and I'm celebrating in Laughlin, away from the crazy city that we all call Dogtown. Though I will be there with you in spirit and will be thinking of you, it's just not the same. At least now I can come visit you in this beautiful spot instead of the cemetery in Long Beach. At the hospital, the night before you passed away, I said my goodbyes and prayed for your soul, that God would welcome you with open arms into heaven, but I still haven't let go of the friendship and special times we spent together. As a kid, I would see you around with your brother Ron or Glenn, or sometimes partying by Freeman Park at my parents' old house, but didn't really know you that well until the very last time you got out of jail. We began hanging out, going to concerts, and formed a bond that could never be broken. And I knew even that I could count on you for anything. When I was married to my first wife, we moved to Inglewood. In the 5 years that we lived there, Glenn and Debbie were the only friends that came to visit us. Or you, Glenn and Debbie, were the only friends that came to visit us. I remember we went to the local liquor store to buy beer, and the girl behind the counter was emptying the safes as the iron truck was pulling up to collect it, and you looked at her with a straight face and said, "Hand it over." She froze and looked at us scared with a handful of money. We both stared at her for a few seconds, started cracking up laughing. She laughed a little bit too, but she didn't think it was that funny as we did. Then I fell on hard times. My brother Joe was serving 18 years in federal prison, and I was dealing with that on top of having to divorce my ex-old lady, and I had to move back into my parents' house with them. I thought I'd never get over it, but then you would call me on the bus on your way home from work and ask if I was at home, and if I wanted to go to Marty's and have a drink. You would always say, if you don't want to, then I won't get off the bus, but I will if you want me to come by. I would always say yes. I know now that you were just trying to cheer me up, and I'm grateful for that. Then I met Monica, my wife now, and took her on a date to Suicidal Tendencies concert the night before Thanksgiving. That night, Debbie was jumped by some girls, and their boyfriends were holding people back from helping Debbie. Monica spotted them at the end of the night, and naturally I started a fight with all three of them. I was a little outnumbered when I spotted you and yelled, "Mike!" You came running. With one punch, the first guy dropped. With the second punch, the second guy dropped. With the last punch, you guessed it, the third guy went down. I remember thinking that was like the whack-a-mole game. You hit the moles with the hammer. By the time it was all over, the cops had taken you into custody. I felt horrible. As we were pulling away, I saw you sitting in the back of the cop car. Shannon was worried and crying, and she kept saying, "Tomorrow's Thanksgiving." Then right before we got on the freeway, you called and said, "They let me go, come back and get me." After we picked you up, you got in the car. Monica said, "You guys are fucking crazy." And you responded with, "Welcome to the family." We busted up laughing. Monica always tells me she will never forget that. Another time, we all took your nephew to Guar concert, and we were in the pit with your nephew, and your nephew came up to us and said, "Uncle Mike, that guy just hit me." When we looked to see who he was talking about, we saw this huge guy, bigger than you, that was giving all these kids cheap shots. as soon as he came around the pit to us, you hit him so hard that you both went down. And as you both tried to get up, I stood on top of this guy and basically surfed him until you got up and got around again. We both snuck into the crowd and got away. Then we saw the guy being dragged away out by security. The party bus, okay. The party bus for Glenn's birthday was out of control and you and Rat wanted to kill each other. But even after it was all over, you told me, Rat's my brother and I will always back him up. That's just the kind of guy you were, loyal to the end. Then there was your bachelor party. Nice try, ladies. I don't remember a thing about that day. Haha.
Whatever. I wanted to hear that.
I remember. It's almost over. I remember you coming back to see my brother's band, and you singing the Pretenders song, "Brass in Pocket," word for word. Word for word. And now I can't hear that song without thinking of you. Even after you had one of your last strokes, you showed up to support my brothers with the patch on your eye, and I hated seeing you like that. At your funeral, I read a little something from my brother to you because he was in prison, and there's no coincidence that he's reading this for me today. I guess God puts people in places they need to be, maybe to hide their pain from others, or in your case, maybe because he needs them for bigger and better things. I do know this, your heart was too big for this world, and you will always be in my heart and my mind forever. I will never forget you. I miss you. Rest in paradise, brother.
Awesome.
Good job.
Amen.
Peace, Cyco Mike.
Anybody else on the table?
I gotta say something. I'm mad at Jeff. You forgot that I got jumped with Debbie.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we knocked
Tape
them
that
out.
too.
Hey, House of Blues went down that night.
We're gonna paddle out. Yeah.